Prominent feminist Gloria Steinem once said, "A gender equal society would be one where the word gender does not exist, where everyone can be themselves." A very blissful morning and cordial felicitations to revered key guest speakers, Professor Dr. Priyanka Tripathi, Dr. Devasiri N. Jayant, and Ms. Sangeeta Menon. Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, AUMP, Professor Dr. MP Kaushik, Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Anil Vashisht, Registrar, Mr. Rajesh Jain, all the deans, directors, HOIs, HODs, members of faculty, research scholars, and students. I, Shravasti Mishra, extend to you a warm welcome to the International Conference on Gender and Politics in Media and Literature, being organized in hybrid mode by Amity School of Communications and Amity Institute of Social Sciences. Gender, as a theoretical concept, has gained tremendous academic attention over the last few decades, and media acts as the main player in the socialization of gender. Gender bias exists in the content, language, and illustration of media and literature. This, in turn, influences people's attitudes and perceptions of gender appropriate behavior in society. It is therefore imperative for academicians and social scientists to explore the field further, and this conference provides an apt platform for the same. Saraswati Mahabhage Vidya Kamal Lochne Vidya Rupe Vishalakshi Vidyam Dehi Namostute. Before we begin with this much awaited intellectual exchange, I request our guest speakers and dignitaries to please light the lamp. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor to felicitate our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Priyanka Tripathi, with a sapling. Please, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Professor Dr. Sumit Narula, Director, ASCO, and Deputy Dean, Research, Publication and Citation, to welcome our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Devasari N. Jayant, with a sapling. Thank you, sir. May I now request Professor Dr. Iti Roy Chaudhary, Director, AISS, ACENT, and ASL, and Deputy Dean, Student Welfare, to felicitate our guest speaker, Ms. Sangeeta Menon, with a sapling. Thank you, dignitaries. Before we begin the proceedings of the day, I am proud to share that the conference has received blessings of His Excellency, the Governor of Madhya Pradesh, Shri Mangubhai Patel, and I quote, "I am happy that two-day international conference on gender and politics in media and literature is being organized by Amity School of Communication and Amity School of Social Sciences, Madhya Pradesh, on 9th and 10th of February 2023. The rise of gender studies as an interdisciplinary field is essential in today's time and age. I hope that the conference will provide a platform for the experts to deliberate on the issues that are relevant to the present scenario and find solutions to move ahead. I extend my warm greetings and best wishes to the organizers and participants and wish the conference as well as the publication of souvenir a success. Thank you, sir, for your kind words. We are also honored to receive a video recorded message from Shri Anurag Singh Thakur, Honorable Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting and Youth Affairs and Sports. Sir, could you please play the recording?
Namaskar. I'm happy to know that today, International Conference on Gender and Politics in Media and Literature is being organized by Amity School of Communication and Amity School of Social Sciences, Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh, on 9th and 10th February 2023. I hope the conference will provide a platform for the experts to deliberate on the issues that are relevant to the present scenario and find solutions to move ahead. I'm also excited to know about the Amity Quality Journal Checker mobile application, which will be a milestone in the field of research and publications. I extend my greetings and best wishes to the organizers and participants and wish the conference a grand success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words.
The conference has also received the blessings of Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan. It is a matter of great pride that a 2 days international conference on gender and politics in media and literature is being jointly organized by Amity School of Social Sciences and Amity School of Communication, Amity University, Madhya Pradesh, Gwalior, on Friday, 10th February 2023. I extend my hearty welcome to all the eminent speakers, distinguished subject experts, researchers, and worthy participants from various national and international universities, institutions, and establishments who will have a rigorous exchange of views and knowledge on the different contours of the conference. The conference will certainly prove to be highly motivating and enriching for brilliant students, research scholars, PhD scholars, faculty members, and other worthy participants, and lead to forging bonds and mutual cooperation, undertaking joint publications for achieving long-term goals and establishing significant and long-term contacts for mutual benefits. I compliment Dr. Iti Roy Chaudhary, Director, Amity School of Social Sciences, Professor Dr. Sumit Narula, Director, Amity School of Communication, and their dedicated faculty members, PhD scholars, brilliant students, and all the members of the organizing committee who, under the most able guidance of Lieutenant General V.K. Sharma, Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Madhya Pradesh, have made untiring efforts in ensuring the success of this conference. Further, the strategic and visionary leadership of Dr. Aseem Chauhan, Chairman, Amity University, Madhya Pradesh, would lead to outcome-based and result-oriented success of the conference. I convey my best wishes for the success of this conference. We thank you, sir, for your kind words.
We are honored to have received the blessings of Honorable Chancellor and Chairman, Dr. Aseem Chauhan. Gender equality is an essential element for the sustainable progress of any nation. The goal of all-round development of the nation can only be achieved by ensuring the equal participation of both genders in various fields. It is therefore vital for all the stakeholders, be it media, literature, governance, to depict gender-sensitive, gender-transformative content, self-regulatory equality policies, access to decision-making positions, etc., and create gender equality in content, workplace, and management. In the wake of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations, our country is transitioning from women empowerment to women-led development. The aim is to create a gender-equal society where men and women enjoy political, economic, and cultural benefits and also share responsibilities. Towards this incessant approach to accomplish academic excellence, it is a matter of sheer delight to proclaim that AUMP is organizing an international conference on a very relevant topic on 9th and 10th February 2023. The discussions during such conference would offer a unique opportunity to all the delegates, speakers, and participants to exchange views, discuss ideas, and come out with path-breaking solutions to the problems being faced by the mankind world over, which is in consonance with the vision of our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, of making Amity University a global hub of knowledge with sustainable development goals and inclusivity. I am sanguine that International Conference on Gender and Politics in Media and Literature by Amity Institute of Social Sciences and Amity School of Communication, Amity University, Madhya Pradesh, would influence the conscience of the participants and inspire them towards good governance, social justice, for the well-being and progress of humanity. Additionally, hands-on training workshop on qualitative data analysis using NVO software and release of the beta version of the app, Amity Quality Journal Indicator, will help all the faculties and research scholars across the world to save themselves from the menace of fake predatory clone journals. I take this opportunity to congratulate and compliment notable efforts of the entire team of Amity Institute of Social Sciences and Amity School of Communication, AUMP, and convey my best wishes for the grand success of the event. Thank you, sir.
Edward Everett Hale once said, "Coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success." This conference has become a success because of the exemplary leadership of Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Madhya Pradesh, Professor Dr. M.P. Kaushik, who has played a pivotal role in guiding and supporting us throughout this journey. I, Sakshi Singh, now take this privilege of introducing Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Madhya Pradesh, Professor Dr. M.P. Kaushik. Professor Dr. M.P. Kaushik is a scientist and administrator who had an illustrious tenure at Defense Research and Development Establishment, Government of India, from where he retired as Director,
and Outstanding Scientist in October 2014 before joining Amity University, Madhya Pradesh. In recognition of his significant contribution to research and innovation, he has been awarded several prestigious awards and honors, such as Scientist of the Year Award and Agni Award for Self-Reliance. Professor Dr. Kaushik also has a rich academic background and has taught at MITS Gwalior as well as Utah State University, Logan, USA. An avid researcher, Professor Dr. Kaushik has to his credit research publications, patents, and technology transfers. With his keen insight and in-depth knowledge of wide spectrum and subjects, he enthusiastically mentors and guides both members of faculty and students. May I request you, sir, for your opening remarks? Please, sir.
Professor Dr. Priyanka Tripathi, who is from IIT Patna. Then Professor Dr. Devashish Jayanta, he is from Singapore, one of the university, very prestigious university from Singapore, and ambassador also of Emerald India. And Madam Sangeeta Menon, she is also the publishing relationship manager in Emerald Publishing India. Dr. Ithirai Chaudhary, Dr. Sumit Narula, Dr. Anil Vasist, Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Dean, Dr. R.S. Tomar, all the HODs, HOIs, and these participants, those who are attending online, because this conference is in the hybrid mode, and all the participants, those are sitting right now in front of me in this auditorium. Very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I would like to compliment the organizers on selecting this topic, that is gender bias and politics in media and the language, which is very relevant in today's scenario. No doubt, this topic itself is a very age-old topic which has been debated quite at length at a different location, at different forums. But still, that what need to be achieved, a lot more need to be done, at least in this area. And hence, this international conference that we have organized with this particular objective to create an awareness about gender bias, gender discrimination, and what is exactly taking place in the politics in media, as well as what is the role of media and what is the role of language in terms of combating the gender discrimination. So this is the topic, according to me, all the three topics, whether it's gender discriminations or gender bias and politics in media, as well as the language, the topic of by itself, there can be independent topic, and all the three conferences can be organized on the topic itself. Now, I'll be talking a little bit as far as the gender bias is concerned. You know, the Gopal Das God, who is a motivator speaker, in one of his talk, he mentioned that wherever humans will be there, human means whether of any age, there will be problems will be there. There will be politics will also be there, and egos will also be there. And among this, whenever the egos will be there, and then the human beings are there, and problems are there, this is up to the human beings how to cope up that problems, as well as the ego which individual is having. The egos can be there among the two people, can be there among the male and female and men. So this itself is creating a sort of a gender bias. And one of the example which he told, that even one question was asked to him, to motivator, that do you think that all human beings are facing the problems or the politics they are playing or the egos they are having? Do you think the sadhus do not have? Then he went to the extent of saying, no, sadhus is not over and above the human beings. After all, first of all, they're human beings, and they're also having some problems. They're also having egos. They also play politics because the resources are available, the finances are available in the various the organizations, religious bodies or religious the organizations. But what they have is, plus point with them is that they are able to navigate the problems as well as egos very well. They have been trained for that purpose. wherever, as far as we are concerned, as the students, as well as the individuals, but we find it difficult as a common man to navigate the problems and the egos which we are facing. And because of the resultant of that egos, as well as the politics which we have in the system itself, that plays an important role in terms of the ecosystems. And now, as I mentioned, that the gender bias is very common. It's not common in case of the developing countries, or the emerging countries. It is spread all over the world. I'll quote one example which I was discussing yesterday with the Dr. Priyanka Tripathi, that even when I was working as a postdoc fellow in the United States, I was the only single person in, because I started working my postdoc with a lady professor. She was professor, head of the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. I was the only male person in our group. There are 4 other, the lady members were there, postdoctoral were there, that is female postdoctoral were there. And after say 3 months or 4 months of my stay over there, I could establish the rapport with my professor, and then whatever the problems they were facing in terms of scientific solutions to the problem which was given by the funding agency, work could be resolved. And I could have an edge over other postdoc fellows, those who are working over there, which they were finding it difficult to solve that problem. So I got the privilege from my lady professor that I can enter her chamber without knocking, or without any prior appointment, which I never broke that protocol. I followed that protocol, that I took the appointment, and if at all there was a necessity to enter in her chamber, I used to knock it and then enter. And every Monday, there used to be a seminar that what you have done in 1 week, everybody. And those days, PowerPoint presentation was not there. I'm talking about 86, 88. So it was only the pen and board. And then on that board, you have to go and then tell what exactly you have done, what are your future plans are there, what are your strategies are there. And then when I used to talk to this, I used to give the complete clarity. So when my colleague, who used to be a lady postdoc in her group, 4 people, so I used to find some solution I used to give. And I used to find, okay, whatever the way she is doing or they are doing, there are some difficulties are there. And I used to advise them, guide them to a certain extent. And also, when I used to become too much of critical of their approach and methodology and strategies in order to solve the problems, my professor used to tell me, Dr. Kaushik, enough, hold it on. Means she used to protect my other fellow colleagues who were being lady members, which I could not realize for quite some time that why at all, because science is common, because science of the strategies has to be solved, whether they should not have a wrong approach. If I am suggesting something, why is she stopping me? Why is not coming out that, okay, perfect knowledge, you are not up to the mark, fine. She was finding it difficult to, and then used to tell me, hold it on. It means she was stopping me rather than going it further. I don't want to use that word that I was pulling. I was not pulling, but at the same time, but it was amounting to that only. So then she called me in her chamber and told, she used to come on Saturdays also, which normally Americans, they do not work on Saturdays. Only the Asian people, the Sri Lankans, and the Indians, Chinese, the Malaysians, they are all, you will find all of them in the laboratory on Saturdays. Whereas the Americans, on Friday evening, they will go off and then enjoy the weekends. But she used to come, and then she called me. He says, whatever you are saying is perfectly all right. She went to one of the conference as a professor and head of the department, and later on she became president of that university. President means vice chancellor of a university. And she was supposed to chair a session, scientific session. Then some of the organizers, though were men-dominated, the committees were there in a seminar or scientific or that particular organization where she was supposed to chair a session. So one of the organizers, who was a very famous person, well-known, renowned person in the scientific community, he told, how come a woman can chair a session? What she knows about science? They are meant for only for minor jobs. The ladies can be the telephone operators, they can be the nurses, they can be office assistants. They cannot think of going to the higher level of the position in government positions, or at the professor level or the vice chancellor level, or securing high position in any organization. So that message was conveyed to her when she was about to chair the session. She felt it very bad. He says, how come? How come they are discriminating so much that, okay, women cannot become the chair, or women cannot become the vice chancellor? And that point, I went down to the internet after coming back over here. During this only, out of 50 states of United States, only in 7 states or 7 universities, the lady vice chancellor were there, lady presidents were there. So there was so much of discrimination. What I want to bring into you, that even in case of United States, which is being considered as one of the developed states, there is a discrimination among men and women. And they think that, okay, women is only for petty jobs only, and they cannot go up to the higher level. They cannot have the position in the government, or higher position they cannot occupy. So this was shocking to me. And one more example I'll give you. One of the paper from Nobel laureate Professor Brown was referred to her for a review, because the reviewer can send a paper to any professor, being a lady and was working in the same field. Because Brown got a Nobel Prize in the case of a boron reduction methodology, so the paper came to her. She handed over the paper to me, being a postdoc fellow, that, oh, please go and review this paper. I, as a scientist, no doubt, I was not that matured enough. At the age of, say, 30 or 32 years of age, I was doing my postdoc. So I went by the protocol which we were following, and then how my paper will be reviewed and then accepted by the American Chemical Society, which is being considered as one of the prestigious journal in our community, or in our the domain. I went on and analyzed that. No doubt, I learned a lesson after that. I went through the papers, and you'll be surprised to know my first reaction was that paper is not up to the mark. It need to be rejected because of the following reasons. Because I was comparing, if I had to send that paper, so they will see it with the lens, and then will try to find out, okay, this is mistake, this is not complete, this is something of that kind. So I followed the same pattern. What was the pattern by the particular journal where they will accept the quality journals or quality papers? When I gave that, she went through my comments, and she called me again. He says, I do not have the guts to reject that paper. And you know who is that gentleman? I was not knowing that particular at point of time. He says he's a Nobel laureate. It's a Nobel laureate paper. And she was finding it difficult because in one of the conferences, which I referred to you a little bit earlier, he was the person who was challenging her that how a woman can be a scientist, how a woman can become the vice chancellor or the president of a university. They do not know any science whatsoever. So, and he says he will came to know that, okay, I have been the reviewer of that one. So she sent it for revision of the things. And he says it's very, very difficult. So it means that kind of a discrimination is there, that she was finding it difficult at that point of time, because they were all ruling the scientific fraternity or the chemical society. So these are what I want to say is, in case of the gender discrimination, is not only in case of the emerging countries, but in case of the developed countries also, this type of problems are being faced. There can be a number of examples can be given regarding that. Now, coming to the politics in media, I think this topic is, all of you know very well. There's nothing much which I can add on. If at all you see to it, and I have taken a reference which I was going through, which normally I take some of the YouTube's channels, I normally watch it for my own curiosity, for my own understanding, for my own, to create awareness about the subject. You know, the one interview was taken by Samita Prakash. She is the managing editor of ANI. And she was interviewing Palki Sharma Upadhyay. She was also managing director of one of the channel, WION. No doubt she is no more, she has resigned. And now she is the managing director of TV 18 or Network 18. In that case, they have the discussion of approximately half an hour. The discussion is there. And he says the newsrooms or the media, the politics in media is rampant, in particularly newsrooms. And how it can happen is that they're full of predators are there who exploits the females in terms of not giving them the right dues. And sometimes they talk in such a language or the behavior in such a way that normally the gentle lady will like to work for a long time in such a situation. I'll give 2 examples. When she herself, the Palki Sharma Upadhyay, she was doing very well. She is for the last 2 decades in media, and the Samita Prakash has by now put the 3 decades in the journalism, mass communication. So she was of the opinion that 2 types of people only will stay in the journalism of mass communication. One is who is really devoted, who is dedicated, who is passionate about the journalism and mass communication. They will like to stay for a long time. And that's why these two ladies who have been staying for a very long time, no doubt, not in one channel, I think they are changing the channels and the print media, either in the print media or in the electronic media. And when she got married to another, one of his colleagues, his husband, she was pregnant. And when she went to the editor to tell her story, okay, this is the story which I have made it, because story have to be written. And then the story, before it goes by on air or on print media, it has to be cleared by the editor. And then the editors made a comment, okay, when she informed that, okay, I'm carrying a baby or I'm pregnant, or he informed her. So the first sentence was, okay, you have to come in shape very quickly. And later on, the congratulations came. So he says, why this type of thing happens, that why this type of a comment? This should not be acceptable. They should talk about the content. They should not talk about what kind of a dress I'm having, what kind of shape I'm having, what kind of attire I'm having. And I can wear a jhumka on my jacket. What is necessary? You should not bother about what I'm wearing. You should look about the content which I am giving. So sometimes what happens is they don't bother about the content. They look someone the aspect of it. And sometimes the women journalists, they find it difficult to continue for a long time in journalism. No doubt, there's a mushroom of the journalism, mass communication schools have come up. But in one statement, she mentioned that even the reporter today, they're getting less salary than that of a domestic servant. And that's why the iteration rate is very high in case of the media also, whether it's a print media or in case of the electronic media. Another thing is, when the lady journalist was working on a story in the times of the Hindustan Times, and she made a story, she gave her a write-up and then went to the editor, okay, perfect, right, this is the way I will like to tell this story to the audience, because this will have more number of audience and other things. Then what the sentences were of that editor, the first sentence is that your lines are tighter than that of your jean. That made her felt very bad about it, and same day she put her on papers and left that particular the paper, newspaper. So sometimes what has happened is they should look into the content. And third example which I like to give, because I have told about the gender discrimination, 2 examples. The second example again, what is the kind of politics is there, which is very common, not only in the media, but in every sphere of life, or every organization or every institute may have this kind of people who behaves like this, have a gender. But the media can also play a very important role, how to combat or how to augment that, okay, this type of gender, the bias should not take place, or gender discrimination should not take place. Then another example is a very famous name, which I like to tell all of you. The word, very common word is karobar. Normally they do, he says, newsroom, when after their shift is over, they are busy in karobar. So I was curious to know what is karobar is called. No doubt I went into the same news. He says, bar in a car is called karobar. And what they do is, after the session is over, after for example, the shift is over in newsroom, as mentioned, she also told that, went to the extent of saying that the newsrooms are full of predators. And then what they do after the session is over, they normally go to the parking area, put the glass on the roof of the car, drink it, take it, they will gossip, they will do politics, they will do all sorts of things. And those who will not join then their karobars, they will be eliminated, they will be outcast. And there will be discrimination will be there. And to the extent of saying that only these type of people, those who are doing the karobar, will only get promoted, they will only get the higher positions, and there will not. So this is not possible by all the women journalists to be part and parcel of that karobar. And that's why they say suffering. Third example, which I say is, for example, if the women scientists as well as the men scientists, they have appeared in UPSC or any recruitment examination, both of them are in the same position, have been acquired. But of late, it has been observed, there is a statistical study has been there, that men, because ladies have also do some other things also. They are having their kids also, they have to look after the families also, but that is impacting their career. And the gentlemen who have been in together in the same group or in the promotion channel, the ladies are being deprived of their promotions because one example or one excuse or the other excuse of it. So this type of discrimination is there. I'm sure this international seminar, no doubt, a lot more need to be done, but certainly the awareness has been created, and then chances are there that this outcome of this international conference on gender, politics in media and language. The language plays an important role. You know, how you put it in the media, as I was telling writing the stories, if you put it very rightly, what she says, if at all you go to social science, what is the news today? News is Twitter, Facebook, or whatever the social network is there, you can pick up and then that becomes the breaking news. But what is more important in today's scenario is that you pick up that particular word, because if it is available in Twitter, what is else to be told to the audience? They know. So you have to put it in a very simple way so that the audience can understand. You have to attach audience yourself. You have to have the attachment or to that story. Yes, they are liking it, they are understanding it. They like, and then they will say, for example, when she was off the channel WIUN, when people were writing a comment to him on Instagram, the question used to come, Madam, you are doing very well. When you are coming next on air? So he says, okay, perfect, I'll come. So it means they were liking the story. And still, what was mentioned is that one of the media, we have to go, our media has not gone international. Right now, we are talking about BBC, we are talking about Al Jazeera network, but even some of our channels still have to go a long way to become global in nature. So, and moreover, the language plus the media can play an important role, or I should say the pivotal role in combating or augmenting the gender dissatisfaction or gender bias, which is taking place in the days, and lot of work to do. And I am sure that you youngsters, because if I talk about olden times, I have some stories to tell you. I would like to begin by referring the Vedic age. All of you may not have heard of a Vedic age where the fundamental unit of society was Dampati, husband and wife. And what they will do, everything, the husband and wife, the Dampati are expected to get up early in the morning, pay all the homage or do the puja, and then ultimately most of the responsibility will be done by the wife and not by the man itself. And that itself shows the discrimination. Why only the lady should get up early in the morning and then do a cleaning and then the rest of the household activities, and then the men will take its own time. So that has become from there only. So, and after the discharge of all their worldly duties to the elders, children, dependents, and the society, women freely participate in religious and social discourse, which that's also the responsibility of the wife. That, okay, if at all social relation has to be maintained and social, in case of relations has to be maintained, then it is only the ladies who will do that, all these things. But in course of evolution of human society, men acquired a more dominant position and the woman gradually became economically, socially, and legal dependent on men. That's why, if at all the young women, those who are sitting over here, my dear students, you have to become economically strong. If you are economically strong, then I think you will be able to in a much more position, and then discrimination will go down. It has changed. It has changed a bit. A lot of things have changed. Now, the young boys and girls, after getting married, they are equally participating in the household activities, whether any kind of job is there, and that type of particular family is very successful. So I will not take much of your time. I have just told you that what exactly is the gist of the international conference. We have to see to it, and I'm 100% sure the deliberations in this international conference will go a long way in combating or augmenting the gender discrimination and the media, as well as the language, the content, how to write, how to speak, whether you put it in right perspective, the message is going to the audience or not, will play an important role. And this conference will be very beneficial to all of you, not only those who are attending here in the auditorium or those who are attending online. And I'm sure your vision, the horizon of about this subject will increase and will go to greater heights in the days to come, and you'll be able to contribute very significantly towards this topic, which has been is the main topic of this one. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk a few words. And I wish that the deliberations will go very healthy, and I think all of you will be participating. And the take-home message will be that yes, we have to see to it how best we can improve the gender bias with the help of communications, with the help of language, and with the help of media. Media also playing very role, but media is also biased. So we have to see to it that when you go to the media houses, you have to see to it that you stick to your lines. One last example I'll give you. the Palki Sharma was, whenever they're going on air, they have to write their own script. And script has to be offloaded on the on prompter. Okay. And that it means they are very strict following that. So in one of the teleprompter, whatever she loaded, the subject which was there of a public importance, the editor changed the line in between without her knowledge. And when she was reading, she came to know this is not the way she will like to put it to the audience that way. No doubt she was having a command in subject, command on the language. She could modulate it when she was already on air. Sometimes it's very difficult. You become panic. You become that what I should say, what kind of word should be, because that has to go uninterrupted. And you cannot have a pause in between. But she could manage it and do that. After that, she went to the editor, the headlines editor. He says, who has changed my script? Later on, he says, I only changed it because there was a pressure from the government that, okay, we have to see it that message should go with your story that we have to vote for so-and-so. He says, no, that's not our basic objective is not that, okay, we are working for a particular organization or particular party. And he says, it is not done. You have not done correctly. You have not informed me. And this will not be acceptable to me. And later on, I think she put in her papers and went away. What was happening earlier in case of media and the language, I do know, you are a very youngsters, you may not be knowing. In my age, 1970s, 80s, there was only the Doordarshan was there, where Madam Salman, then Maheshwari, then Usha Albekure, then Meenu, then Sarla Maheshwari, and Manjari Joshi, they were used to be on the news, DD News. And what they will do, what they were saying, that they were getting the write-up from the government officials, from the government of India. And they used to write the script only, and they used to go and then go on air, whatever has been written by the government. But that is not the case. Now, the media has also become independent. They can put their views, they can have the discussion and debate. All of you have seen what kind of debate is taking place at 9 o'clock every day. You can imagine that what is the level of a debate when the people that don't have much of understanding, even they come for the debate. Anyhow, my nutshell story is that I wish you all the great success in your life in the days to come. And I sincerely hope that you will be able to contribute very significantly towards the gender bias and with the help of media and the language. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words. It is always a matter of great privilege and joy for us to listen to your motivating ideas. Our exposure to these ideas would surely assimilate in us the highest of virtues that one needs to ingrain in oneself. Thank you once again, sir. And yes, I request everyone to maintain the decorum. This intellectual platform has also been dignified by the benign presence of our most revered keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Priyanka Tripathi. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker to the audience. Professor Dr. Priyanka Tripathi is an Associate Professor of English and Head Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Indian Institute of Technology, Patna. She is also the co-executive editor of the Journal of International Women's Studies, published by Bridgewater State University. She has been awarded Visiting Research Fellowship 2022-23 by IASH. The University of Edinburgh for her project titled Optimizing Caste Intersectionality, a decolonial reading of gender-based violence in select subaltern fiction in India. She has published extensively in Indian literature, genre of graphic novels and comics, geohumanities, and economic and political weekly, amongst others. Her monograph with Bloomsbury is titled The Gendered War, Evaluating Feminist Ethnographic Narratives of the 1971 War of Bangladesh. She works in the area of gender studies, South Asian fiction, geohumanities, and graphic novels. May I request you, ma'am, to kindly deliver your keynote address. Please, ma'am.
It's still a good morning. I can warmly wish everybody. It's a very beautiful campus, I must say first. So good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here. Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Kaushik, Professor Debashri, Professor Narula, Ms. Sangeeta Menon, Professor Itish Roy Chaudhary, many proud, committed administrative posts that I cannot like really remember. I have been meeting a lot of people since yesterday, but I have met Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor yesterday, so I know him, and faculty members from Department of School of Social Science and Mass Communication, and so many people I met since yesterday. Everybody, I think one thing that I can truly compliment this campus in all its ways is about vibrancy and vibes. So that I think is the key point of this campus. It's my first visit to Amity University, Gwalior, and I think there'll be many more. So on that note, I welcome all of you, students, faculty members, all the staff and everybody to this lecture. So when Professor Narula, and I congratulate Professor Narula for putting in so much of effort in making this conference possible on a very relevant subject, which is gender and politics. Now that goes pretty much hand in hand. And when he told me that he wants me to deliver a keynote, now 15 to 20 years of researching in gender and about 40 years of practicing gender, being in one, there were many keys I had, but I thought, what do I choose for the keynote? And then I thought of something which was relevant to all our lives. Constitution of India, in a way, says all of us are equal. But are we is the question I ask on a day-to-day basis through not only literary texts that I read, but also through the Facebook posts that I go, the Twitter, which dominates our day-to-day dwelling, and Instagram posts, or reels for that matter, which I'm sure everybody in this auditorium has seen at some point of time. We can't really do away with that. Also the shopping that we do. So gender is pretty much everywhere, but this is one topic. It's about parenthood. Either we are kids to somebody or we have kids. So parenthood is something which is integral to our being. And that's why I thought, let me talk about the issue of surrogacy, which is pretty much related to motherhood. And though we call it parenthood these days, and there is a father and a mother involved, how does the lane operate for these two posts differently is my contention in this keynote lecture. So my lecture is titled Contextualizing Surrogacy Through Select Indian Texts. I take up two texts to talk about it. So when we talk about women, there is a very common narrative which goes on, which says, if you are not a mother, you are still to become a woman, which pretty much put all the identity of a woman into a pigeonhole. Because in the age of reproductive justice, where we are saying whether we abort or keep the baby is my right, whether I want to become a mother or not become a mother is my right, is my choice, my body, my choice. How do we get into this space where the society says, if you're not a mother, you are not a woman? That puts your entire existence, your entire being into question. So motherhood forms the crux of the structural and configuration of the family and was identified by an obtrusive dichotomy aligned with patriarchal dominance, leading to glorification without empowerment. So what I mean to say within these slides is that when society started, I'm sure we will have some sociology students over here, also people who have read anthropology, done the data, they will say that when society started forming itself, the very crux of the family formation was proprietorship. And women became a very feasible tool to exercise that proprietorship because they had the reproductive organs, they had the reproductive capabilities. So the major paradox, so it happened in such a way that when they had babies, especially in the context of India, even having a male child is glorified. So you are not a woman. You are a woman technically till you have a baby, but you are not sort of what you can say, taken into the fold of family. Your family has, I remember one of the very good couples, very learned, very educated, saying our family has not yet been complete, which means because they had just one daughter, the family is yet to complete when they have a son. So in an age when we are talking about male preference, how do women negotiate this space? Sir was talking about women in science. And in 2020, I remember one of the conferences of women scientists that I was listening to on YouTube. And there was one woman scientist who said that we all go for maternity leave for 6 months and then take childcare leave. But in these 2 years of time, the time lapse, our life has moved ahead personally. But when we come to the field of science, science has also advanced. And those 2 years of gap, it takes 20 more years to fill in that gap. And therefore, the colleagues who were there, who were on their similar platform, if not the same, have taken leap further while they are riding on a back foot, with kids and everything. So the major paradox of infertility is that its prevalence is often greatest in those areas of the world where fertility is highest. So in the context of India, we know that the fertility rates, we have a lot of population. So pretty much, but then that is also on a very declining scale. So if you see the statistics, you will find that India's fertility rate has also dropped down. So it has dropped down from 4.97% in 1975 to 80 to 2.3% in the present era of 2015-20, and by 2025-30, we are expecting more infertile couples. Now we call them couple. Earlier, we used to call them infertile women. So when we talk about diversity and inclusion, that is how we are operating. And that is why these discourses are there. When we talk about language, Professor Kaushik was talking about how language can also be sexist. And in that sphere, there are a majority of vocabulary change that has taken place. So language has also undergone shift. People in languages department will know that there are many things that we can't refer to. So nobody wants to be called these days actress, actor. Everybody's an actor. You know, so those are terminologies. Nobody is a chairman, chairwoman, whatever you call it. I remember when I joined IIT Patna in 2013, so many meetings I went to, we were very few women, about 4 amidst 130 faculty members. And everywhere we used to go, we were not madams, we were sirs. And it was very strange because I had gone from IIT Kharagpur to IIT Patna, and the culture was very different. And that is the time when I realized no matter how neutral space you create, it's important that the context supports that neutral space. So there are many articles about surrogacy in the context of India, and even this surrogacy space has become very complex when it comes to dealing with women and men. So there are 2 types of surrogacy in the context of the world. We talk about altruistic surrogacy and commercial surrogacy. Commercial surrogacy is comparatively a new phenomena, the outcome of the liberalization, we can say. Earlier in the context of India, we only had altruistic surrogacy. So if you talk to your parents some point of time, they will tell you about how people dealt with in infertility. So there was some relative or somebody close who was part of this entire exercise of being a surrogate for somebody. Surrogacy meant that at that point of time that somebody will have a child and they will give it to you. Surrogacy as a method also, when it came, they started only choosing people who were very close in the family. What did it mean in the context of altruistic surrogacy? It meant it was not for commercial gain. It was moralistic. You wanted to help somebody, and it was considered legal under the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021. Now, this is a very complex act and was contested a lot because in commercial surrogacy, there was monetary compensation. It was a business transaction, completely outlawed. So it was in the hands of an individual, and therefore government decided that there should be some intervening done in the practice of commercial surrogacy, and hence Surrogacy Regulation Act came, which endorsed that the kind of surrogacy we practice should be altruistic in nature. So this particular presentation, I take up two texts, Meera Syal's The House of Hidden Mothers, which was published in 2015, and Amulya Maladi's A House for Happy Mothers, which was published in 2016. Now, in these both the texts, you will find that they talk about couples who are dealing with infertility issues and opt for one method of surrogacy or the other. So in one text, we find that it's an Indian American infertile couple who relies on surrogacy, and the couple relies on surrogacy because it's cheaper than IVF. IVF is expensive, and The House of Hidden Mothers captures the trials and tribulations of Shyama, a 48-year-old woman who discovers that she can no longer conceive as she has no viable eggs and an inhospitable womb. So for women, it's very difficult to go through that process where their womanhood is entirely put to question just because they cannot bear a child. And that is something I think we are also trying to change through our research. We are also trying to pick up literature that does not question women on just their productivity in terms of having a child. A woman is productive on many more grounds than just this. So when we talk in the context of India, the idea of reproductive justice does not exist, or the idea of reproductive choice does not exist, because these two concepts cannot operate in the absence of resources. So only when you go to a buffet and there are so many choices, then you say, I am going to eat this. This is going to come to my platter. But if nothing is there and you just have one option, you can't say that this is going to be my choice. That's a compulsion. So in the context of India, where there are less resources, we cannot talk about reproductive justice or choice to that extent. However, in these two texts, there are women who question this particular process. So whether it is Maladi or Syal, both of them talk about this process of infertility, dealing with infertility, where they opt for surrogacy because it is cost effective, and that is how they go through their motherhood journey. So I'll quickly touch upon what is reproductive justice. This is a concept by Tanya Azbazara, and she says that a reproductive choice justice activists direct our attention away from individual rights implied by choice and towards whole people, whole families, whole communities. Now, the SDG goals also talk about inclusion and diversity. Now, when we talk about inclusion and diversity, what does it mean? Now, in every class that I teach these days, I mean, generally, if I talk about situations before 2015 or 2016, at IITs, we used to have classes which were full of boys, hardly 10, 5, 6, 8 girls. Thanks to supernumerary seats, we have many girls these days in the class. But what has happened? So due to this conditioning that the engineering stream is predominantly full of boys, they do not recognize, even when the girls are present, they do not recognize the importance or the presence of their female classmates. And that becomes very problematic. I'll tell you why. One day I was organizing this group discussion, and I asked this class to make 6 groups. So there were 6 groups, 6 each in all those 6 groups, all of them boys. Quickly, boys teamed up. And then I was surprised, because it has been 5 years of supernumerary. many girls in the class. And even then, the orientation hasn't changed. And I was bound to ask them this question, that is this the kind of company you want to work? Is this the kind of team you want to have? Why? Because this is the first year students. And I thought it was important on our part to change that kind of orientation, that kind of conditioning from the very beginning. Professor Kaushik told me one thing which is very good, and I felt it and I realized that. He said everything begins at home. And I can't disagree with him on that. And true, when we look back in our own families, we find the discrimination from there itself. So yes, so that then when we talk about reproductive justice, we begin from there, from our family, which imposes, which kind of values our presence only in terms of the motherhood quotient that we can deliver. So our delivery is literally taken too seriously. So when we talk about choice versus excess, I did talk about how the idea of reproductive justice can operate only within the presence of resources. If there are no resources, the idea of choice automatically gets flushed. Now, in the context of India, when the Surrogacy Regulation Act came, and why altruistic surrogacy becomes problematic in the context of India, because in the context of India, the surrogates, it was done by women, but it's their family members who started taking the lead of channelizing the business. So it wasn't the matter of their health anymore. It wasn't the matter of their choice anymore. What happened is that it became a kind of a business transaction. And though it is said that a woman can become a surrogate maximum one time, there were women who were doing it for the sake of money twice or thrice. And that is what Meera Syal and Maladi talk about. So in both these texts, you will find that they have opted for surrogates. Now, for the surrogates, it's very different. Why? Because they come from a low middle class family. So when they have their own children, they do not have access to hospitals. They do not have access to resources. They are not even getting good food. But all of a sudden, once they become surrogates, they have everything. They are taken to the best of hospitals. They are taken to the best of gynecologists. They are given best of food. And then this becomes a complex exercise within their mind. Why? Because the child that they are bearing in their womb is treated differently. And here is where we talk about gender. The neutral spaces operate differently for other people. There is one quick research. I think we are in a very promising university campus, and that is why I think it's important for me to talk about it. I have been doing this small research on gender inclusion at IITs. And I think universities like this can also think of, because we will become, when I say we, all of us put together, we will become the model institutions for gender diversity in 10 years to come. They have been talking about, when we talk about gender today, it's not just about the binary of man and woman. There is third gender, there is transgender, there is bisexual, there is everybody. And we might just have anyone walk into the campus because education as such is neutral. And we are committed to the cause of education. How do we open our campuses to those genders? 10 years down the line, yes, we have to open it. We have to be diverse without social stigmas attached. And this particular conference, I think, initiates a dialogue in that discussion when they discuss this issue of gender and politics in the context of India and media. And it's important to include media because media is powerful. And we cannot exercise our vision without the support of media. We can take literature, but yes, when we have to discuss gender and politics, we have to take into account the role media plays in our day-to-day exercises. And that is why a topic like surrogacy as well, when we pitch it within the social justice framework, it can only navigate within the dangers, constraints, and possibility inherent in the surrogacy sector, which again was highlighted by the media. Otherwise, it wasn't much taken up. And maternal health indeed is a reproductive right. This presentation, what I wanted to claim through this presentation is that surrogates have greater rights while creating citizens for their wealthier sisters than when producing their own children. The dichotomy that I talked about in their own children and the children they bear as surrogates. And while advances in biomedicine and biotechnology have expanded reproductive options for privileged individuals, including the ability to have bioengineered babies, they have also been marginalized and commercialized the wombs of less privileged women, popularizing concepts such as selling motherhood and renting wombs. So when we talk about the issue of infertility and the issue that the ways in which you can deal with infertility, it is very class dependent. We have also been trying to look into the caste thread of it, and there is something called transnational caste system within the reproductive justice quotient. And I think any amount of sphere that we work in the context of India, I think gender is a very crucial component that we have to take. And there is a concept called intersectionality by Kimberly Crenshaw. And she says that we cannot understand gender only in one way. And when we talk about surrogacy, yes, we have to take into account the class component. Who can afford a surrogate? Right? Who can afford to go to the hospital? So is gender in that context class independent? No. So when we talk about a very diverse country like India, which operates on so many grounds, I think there are many markers we have to take, and we cannot take off one thread and go ahead with that. On that note, I think I will close my presentation and thank everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Your enlightening words will always be enshrined in our hearts. It is my profound pleasure to introduce our guest of honor to the audience, Professor Dr. Devasri N. Jayant. Professor Devasri N. Jayant is a professor at Department of Accountancy and Finance, Sabarmaya University of Sri Lanka. He also served as the honorary chairman, Education and Research at the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. He holds a Doctor of Philosophy from the University of Colombo, as MSc, as well as postgraduate diploma from the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. After serving 70 years in the industry, he joined academia, and he is a pioneer in applying triangulation research approaches in the management discipline. He is currently serving as the co-editor-in-chief of the South Asian Journal of Marketing, published by Emerald Publishing, Senior Associate Editor of the FIIB Business Review, published by Sage Publishing, Managing Editor of the South Asian Journal of Tourism and Hospitality, published by Faculty of Management Studies. He has been awarded for research excellence several times, including the University of Michigan International Mixed Method Scholarship Award, to name a few, and has been accredited as a fellow chartered manager by the Chartered Institute of Management, UK, and has published extensively in top-tier research journals, including Managerial Finance, Qualitative Research in Financial Markets, Journal of Public Affairs, International Journal of Qualitative Methods. We are honored to have you amongst us, sir. May I invite you, sir, for your address?
Very good morning, everyone. Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Dr. M.P. Kaushik, Chief Guest or the keynote speaker of today's conference, Professor Dr. Priyanka Tripathi, chairs of the conference, our very good friends, Professor Sumit Narulla and Professor Ithiroy Chowdhury. Our esteemed guest of honor today, Ms. Sangeeta Menon, the Publishing Relationship Manager of Emerald Publishing. Faculty members of the Amity University and distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. I take it as a great pleasure and honor to deliver this guest speech today at the conference organized by the Amity University. So today I'm going to discuss about some of the areas which is contemporary to the current world. So I have taken my topic as the role of media in the contemporary issues of gender and politics in Sri Lanka. So I have taken Sri Lanka as an example. So, and also I'm going to shed some lights on practical aspects of gender and political issues, and which has led to economic instability in Sri Lanka. So this is the outline of today's discussion. So first, I will discuss on what are the contemporary issues in gender in Sri Lanka, then what are the contemporary issues on politics in Sri Lanka, and finally, I'll discuss on the role of media in addressing such issues. Gender equality that can be considered as a human right. So as you know, it is a necessary foundation for a peaceful and sustainable economy, which will pave the way towards forming a prosperous society. So with less than a decade to achieve 2030 agenda for sustainable development set by UN, so it's crucial to ensure that every person has equal access to education, health, decent work, life free from discrimination and abuse, and representation in political and economic decision making. I would like to emphasize some current gender issues faced in Sri Lanka. So if you consider current statistics, out of the 8.5 million economically active population, 72% of are males and only 35% are females. In addition to that, women constitute 52 or 53% of the Sri Lankan population, but female representation in the parliament is only less than 5%. So now you can see one of the major issues in gender equality, not only in the, general public, even starting from parliament, even though we do have 53% population representing female, so it is less than 5% in the parliament. So the labor force participation of the women as of 2022, it is at 33.6% of the total population. In addition to that, in accordance with the findings of the study conducted in 2021 by the United Nations Population Fund, we call it as UNFPA, so it is revealed that 90% of the Sri Lankan women and girls have faced sexual harassment in public buses and trains at least once in their lifetime. So by looking at this, you can see so many issues with regard to gender equality. So we can see not only in Sri Lanka, but also in the region. So another issue, we can see that less understanding and acceptance on different gender identities. These gender identities, it can be sometimes there are different personalities we can see in the, general public, starting from lesbians, gay men. So there are different forms even. There are issues with regard to the transgender, and also another issue, we can see it as the casual sexism. So sexism, that is a kind of a discrimination based on sex or gender, specifically against women and girls. So the concept of sexism is closely related to gender role and its stereotype that are deeply rooted to any society. So causal sexism is a part of every woman's life, from assigning gendered chores such as asking women to clean the area of a workplace or being passed over for a promotion because the lady in question is pregnant. So the most believed gender stereotype in Sri Lanka society, considering women, is that they should be at home looking after the household and their children and taking care of the entire family. So women are not expected to be going into higher ranking in occupations and positions in the society. For an example, I would like to have an example here. The most recent example is the appointment of female Deputy Inspector General, DIG of Police. So that is the first time that a DIG is appointed representing women. So that is the first ever appointment even in history of Sri Lanka. So this was criticized by many, specifically male police officers. So stating that a woman is not suitable for a DIG position in police. So ultimately what happened was consequently led to her being removed from the DIG position. That is very unfortunate. Many feminists highlight this as a prominent example that showed the sexism and the strong gender stereotyping prevailing in Sri Lanka. So the second topic I'm going to discuss today, that is contemporary issues in politics in Sri Lanka. So as you know, political issues could always pave the way towards economical issues in any country. So I would like to have several examples from Sri Lanka. So once a party becomes to the power, what they do is they are making appointments in the government sector for the supporters of their party. So it is also happening in Sri Lanka, not only in the, past government, across the 7 decades of its independence. So that has led to excessive workforce in the government sector. So the government can't control its expenditure right now. So it's really difficult to restructure because of the intervention of the political parties. In addition to that, all the political decisions were taken for the benefit of the political parties instead of the people. So it should be for the people. So most recent example is that in 2020, I could remember that in July. So Sri Lankan government has taken a decision in order to decrease the statutory reserve requirement. Statutory reserve requirement in the sense that if you are operating a bank in a country, so there should be a deposit from that bank in the central bank in order to safeguard the total banking system. So statutory reserve requirement of Sri Lanka, it was reduced to 2%. That was the highest ever reduction in the Sri Lankan history, where the banks were able to withdraw their money from the central bank and proceed with loans and advances at very lesser interest rates. So we know that there is a strong relationship with broad money or the money supply to the market and also the inflation, which has led towards the inflation of Sri Lanka. Not only that decision, but also the previous governor, he clearly pointed out that there is no relationship between money printing and the inflation, which is against the economic theory. So they printed money in order to compensate the expenditure of the government sector without controlling that. So these are the political decisions they have taken. So as a result of that, so the Sri Lanka is at a position where it is at the top 5 positions in the world in terms of inflation. So it is not in a controllable moment right now. So as I stated earlier, all the political decisions which has taken in the current government and also the previous government, which could lead towards the economical instability here in Sri Lanka. So it could happen to any other countries in the world if you do not have good governance in place. So I would like to shed some lights on political crisis in 2022. What happened was in 2022, Sri Lankan political crisis, that was a issue we faced due to the power struggle between the previous past President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the people of Sri Lanka. So people of Sri Lanka, they went against the previous president, and it was fueled by the anti-government protests and demonstrations of the public due to the economic crisis in Sri Lanka. So the previous president, he has to step down, and then again he appointed his one of very good friends as the president of the country, who is having only one seat in the parliament out of 225 seats available in the Sri Lankan parliament. So which is really unfortunate. He is having for his party only one seat, he became the president. So the current issue in 2023, so that is a result of that. So the president of Sri Lanka is not having the people's or the voting of the people, and he is ruling the government. And also recently they have introduced a new tax system where all the professionals, the middle income families are taxed at 36%. So now we are paying 36% of our salaries as taxes, pay tax. So then, last week, there was a huge protest against the government. So the country's production, service, everything has collapsed. So we are in an economically unstable situation where it has led to price instability, economic instability, and ultimately political and economical instability. So it is a result of political issues we faced during the past 7 decades. So now I would like to discuss some of the points with regard to the role of media in addressing gender and political issues. So as you know, media plays a vital role in addressing gender and political issues in any globalized economy. So these platforms are not limited to film, television, radio, advertisement, social media, and video games. So initiatives that are sources exist to promote gender equality and reinforce women's empowerment in the media, industry, and representatives. As I stated, sexualization of women in particular is heavily centralized in mass media in order to have a benefit out of it for the media channels. So in advertisement, you know that celebrity endorsement of products are thought to be specifically effective if the celebrity is a physically attractive woman, as the attractiveness is thought to transfer to the brand image. We call it as brand association in marketing. So I strongly believe in the transformative role media can play a role in achieving gender equality in the societies. So by creating gender sensitive and gender transformative content and breaking gender stereotypes, by challenging traditional social and cultural norms and attitudes regarding gender perception, both in content and in the media houses, by serving women in leadership roles and as experts on a diversity of topics on a daily basis, not as an exception. In addition to that, I would like to shed some lights on delivering the truth or the reality instead of political or gender biasness. So you know that media that has a vital role in playing unbiased position, but it is not practiced in the world, not only in Sri Lanka, but in the South Asian countries, South Asian economies. So media that does not play an impartial role. So most of the time, it is supporting the government, brainwashing the people. So there is an issue with regard to the role of media. So as a practitioner who worked in the industry for 17 years and joined the academia in 2020, I strongly believe that there should be a mechanism in order to control the, media operations, not only in Sri Lanka, but also in the region and also the world. So the problem is how to ensure the media freedom and good governance in addressing gender and political issues in the world. So I suggest that there should be a code of conduct developed for the media addressing these issues. Otherwise, the people will always not believe what media says in the future. So that challenge is there for the media personalities where Sri Lanka is facing right now. So I'm not going to take example media vehicles playing biased roles, but we know that so that is happening everywhere in the world. In addition to that, maintaining the equity and gender equality in the media presence, that is essential. So we should not promote on activities which could have negative social impact. So these things should be addressed, I mean, within the course of next 1 or 2 years in the near future. So otherwise, this will become another crisis, not only in Sri Lanka, but in the region. So that as the conclusion, so I would like to restate that. So the media has a vibrant role in addressing gender and political issues. They should act as, I mean, mediators, not biased, impartial, and they should deliver the truth on a timely manner. So as the final note, I would like to thank Professor Sumit Narulla and the organizing team in inviting me in order to deliver this talk, representing Sri Lanka and also addressing the role of media in addressing political and gender issues in the region. Thank you very much. And finally, I would like to congratulate everyone, all the researchers who are present in their papers today. I wish you all the best. And also on behalf of the South Asian Journal of Marketing, as the co-editors-in-chief, published by Emerald Publishing, I would like to highlight that I would like to open a room for the, best papers in order to publish it in South Asian Journal of Marketing. And also, I can open up some other journals as well, like FIIB Business Review, and also some other faculty journals for the betterments of the researchers who are present in their papers today. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir, for your highly insightful address. We are all indeed delighted that this event has been graced by the presence of next guest speaker, Ms. Sangeeta Menon. It's my supreme pleasure to introduce her to the audience. Ms. Sangeeta Menon is Publishing Relationship Manager at Emerald Publishing, where she leads the publishing program for India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Maldives, and Bhutan. Prior to joining Emerald, she worked with leading publishers like Taylor and Francis, Editor Journal South Asia, Elsevier, Publisher South Asia, and Wiley, Publishing Manager, India. In her 18+ years of experience in the publishing industry, she has seen firsthand the challenges that researchers in South Asia often face when it comes to communicating their research to the wider world. As a result, besides leading publication activities in the regions she oversees, Ms. Sangeeta is passionate about supporting researchers with sessions on research trends and understanding the publishing process better to help them make the right decisions when it comes to publishing their work. This has enabled many researchers to benefit from the advantages of having their work published in respected journals and publications, which in turn allows their research to reach a wider audience. May I humbly invite you, ma'am, for your address? Please, ma'am.
So good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to share the dais with such esteemed guests and dignitaries like Dr. Kaushik, Dr. Tripathi, Dr. Roy Chaudhary, Professor Devasri, and of course, Dr. Narula, because of whom I'm here. Thank you so much for inviting me and give me a platform to share my perspective as a research publisher. So before I begin, I just want to share a very, very brief background about Emerald Publishing. It was founded in 1967 in Bradford, West Yorkshire. Our core subjects are business, management, education, engineering, information sciences. We are connected to researchers in over 152 countries. We have over 109 million visitors each year, and we see over 50 million article downloads each year. We are one of the world's leading digital first publisher, commissioning, curating, and showcasing research that can make a real difference. This is where we talk about real impact when it comes to research. We work with thousands of universities and business schools across the world to share knowledge and provoke the kind of debate that leads to positive change. This is exactly the kind of platform where we look to collaborate. And why I mention this is because you might have in my intro heard that I've worked with some of the global top publishers, and Emerald, being much younger than all the other global publishers, has done fantastically well for different reasons. And one of them is how we conduct our business. It goes beyond publishing articles. And that's a perspective that I wanted to share. And Dr. Kaushik had also touched upon the topic of, the role of media houses when it comes to the content that goes out. So as a publisher, it's very natural that most people like to ask questions related to how to publish an article. But I want to remind everyone that publishers are not just the gatekeepers of research. We are also a part of the system that shapes research. So equity, diversity, and inclusion, or EDI, is an increasingly important and in fact a crucial part of organizations these days. I'm currently the chairperson of EDI Global Network at Emerald Publishing and a member of the Association of Learned and Professional Society of Publishers. In these additional roles, I not only review the policies and actions within Emerald Publishing for a more equitable work environment, but also our processes and how we as publishers translate some of these principles externally. So today I'm using this opportunity to share the perspective of a research publisher and why today's topic is an essential part of the discussions in research. So it is often a chicken or egg first question on whether media and literature play a role in shaping our perceptions and attitude towards various social issues, including gender and politics, or do gender and politics shape the media and literature and thus affect the perceptions and attitude? In either case, we can agree that the representation of gender and politics in these mediums can have a very profound impact on the way we view the world and our place in it. As publishers, the last few years, we have been taking a very close look at what are the voices that are shaping research, and equally importantly, what are the voices that are getting excluded from the conversations. So in 2020, we had commissioned our first global inclusivity report to shine a light on the issues that are facing our communities and the actions we can take to create a fairer society. In 2022, we released our second global inclusivity report. Now, the complete report is available to be downloaded freely on our website. However, for now, I'm just sharing some key findings. So what we see is when we talk about inclusivity, it's a high priority for academics. They say nearly 78% of the academics world over, they say that it is important for them. From a very regional perspective, it's important for academics in Middle East and Asia, which is 90%. We have Latin America with 89% and Asia at 84%. These are the countries where they feel that there's not enough inclusion or enough voices coming from them, or they're not getting sufficient support. And least significant for those in North America, because they feel they usually have the required, visibility. most people, most academics feel that it's a moderate priority for publishers and funders. So over 53% of academics believe that inclusion is important to publishers. So in Asia, it is 73%, and in Australia, 30%. They believe that it is not important to publishers to be inclusive. And this is where we are capturing and understanding what are the kind of experiences researchers are having. Even lower scores are given to funders at 52%. And also that these experiences depend a lot on the region. So it's low and middle income regions that rank most categories higher than upper and high income regions. In terms of career stages, we see that early careers, people from the early career stages score higher. That means they feel excluded or they feel they're not included enough. And this is especially for students and first to fifth years post-PhD. And more important to women personally. Men and women have slightly different perspectives, and we see that 88% of women say that there's a need for inclusivity versus 75% of men. So now this imbalance can lead to, So this imbalance can lead to a very different kind of a perception and a lack of progress in the discussions and in the research systems itself. Excuse me for a second. Yeah, so sorry. So like I was saying, the imbalance can lead to a very clear case of lack of diversity in the perspectives that are coming forward, the ideas and approaches brought to the table itself. And it can lead to it can limit the progress of various areas of research. So the factors contributing to gender imbalance in research has already been discussed by other speakers, but just to touch upon it, it includes systematic bias, lack of family-friendly policies, and a lack of representation of women in leadership positions. So in the case of lack of inclusion, experience of researchers from low and middle income countries are some of the factors that act as barriers for them are cultural biases, limited access to information, language barriers, among others. However, as society evolves, so does our understanding of more complex factors affecting gender and politics. And it is a responsibility of media and literature to reflect these changes. And hence, addressing this imbalance is important for promoting equality and improving the quality of research outcomes itself. So as a global publisher, it is vital to us at Emerald that we support researchers, topics, and groups that have been underrepresented and silenced for far too long. So we are facing the challenges head-on by raising awareness and campaigning for changes and creating new opportunities that allow us to break down the barriers and advance diversity and inclusion within the sector. So what we are doing differently within Emerald to try and tackle this problem is we regularly review the regional and gender representation of the editorial advisory boards. We always had a gender question, we always captured information on regional representation of submissions that are coming through, but now we have added the question of gender in the journal submission system. And this is where we are trying to track how many when it comes to gender representation of academician submissions that are coming, how are the decisions being taken? This is where we have started tracking that. We have started analyzing the conversion rates from submission to acceptance by gender and region to assess whether the current processes are vulnerable to bias or not, and where are the corrective measures that are needed. We are also introducing, and we have already in fact started introducing editor training and targets around diversity and inclusion in the content that we bring onto our platform. And we train and support commissioning editors to encourage diversity of authorship and content focus. So as a result of this targeted acquisition, just a couple of examples is the Case for Women competition, where we saw that, representation of women in case studies and leadership roles was very, very limited. You didn't see too many women leaders represented in the case studies. And what happens is this translates also in the classrooms, where you don't have those examples that your students can look up to or relate with, especially your female, researchers, your female students. So this was a gap that we had identified. So we now have Case for Women competition, and we have special issues focused on Black case protagonists again. So the need for bringing in representing, Black people in case studies was also recognized, and we try to address that. So it becomes very important, like Dr. Kaushik said, that when it comes to how we are, addressing gender and equity and inclusion, all these very, very important topic, your media houses also have a very important stake in this, in controlling what goes out. And it's a contribution of all stakeholders, from the content consumers to the contributors, and like I said, the gatekeepers, to manage this and create a much positive outcome and for everyone. So with that, I'll thank everyone for your attention and for the opportunity to speak to all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your highly insightful address. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Sumit Narula, HOI, Amity School of Communication and Deputy Dean Research, Publication and Citation, to the dais for unveiling of the app Amity Quality Journal Checker.
I'm audible? Yeah, thank you. So thank you, everybody, and thank you, the guest, and Dr. Priyanka Tripathi from Patna, Sangeeta ma'am from Emerald, and Jen sir from Sri Lanka, and Dr. MP Kaushik, the Pro Vice Chancellor, who is the back end here. And Dr. Itiraj Chaudhary is like an elder sister and always helping us and supporting us. So AIS is an integral part of the university and our conference that we are doing together. So we have our Center for Detection of Fake News and Disinformation. And we started this center in January 2020, when there was a lot of discussion on catching fake news and disinformation. And after starting this discussion, we were in Singapore for a training, and there we understood that there is a need to catch fraud research also. So we were pondering upon certain things, and then we've intentionally published in some of the fraud journals and saw that what happened. They usually publish the paper in around, you can say 24 hours and 48 hours, and take a lot of money. So we decided to give opportunity to everybody in this world to have this app. And in this app, we have more than 200 fraud research papers added into it. We will be adding more. So now this app, Amity Quality Journal Checker app, will be one stop for everyone on Google Play Store as well as on iOS, where you can find these fraud research publishers on one portal. We'll keep on editing the names. At the moment, I think in the world there are more than that, but we have the confirmed list of 200 fraud journals. So I will be unveiling that app in front of everybody with the permission of Honorable Pro VC sir. This app, you have seen that it has also been shown to the minister and to the stakeholders of the universities, and we're very excited. This is the beta version. The full version will be available next week on Google Play Store as well as on the iOS. So thank you. So I'm sharing things from here. It might take 1 minute. Okay, I need to join Zoom once again. Just a second. Right, I will be sharing my screen. Yeah. So this is Amity Quality Journal Checker. You can see, I click on Test App. Okay. So now we have made it the interface. You can log in with your Face ID. I'll click on Login with Face ID. Now it's open. And you can see 4 things. The first thing is the methodology. The methodology is a copyrighted methodology from Government of India. We have the copyright of catching cloned journals in academics. So this methodology is given there. We have the certificate also there. We are also the pioneer in catching fraud and misleading impact factor, which is already there in the market, catching a lot of people saying that this is an impact factor already, that is not the right impact factor. So that fraud will also be caught on this website through the methodology. We have the insight column about us, the work that we have done. We have been covered by various news channels, various newspapers, in even UK studies being done on that millions of dollars have been siphoned off from India while doing the fraud research. So that is also there. You can see that. About us, we have the app is being developed by the Center for Detection of Fake News and Disinformation. Mr. Arun and Dr. Harshika is working with me on this app, and Dr. Siddharth will be coming up with a new model where we will be doing the upgradation. Now, I'll just do a demo in 1 minute. You click on search journal. You know the name like Adalia. Adalia is the name of a journal. So you type Adalia here. You click Adalia. You get the original title here. You can see the original title. When you go down, you will see Adalia cloned also. So that means Adalia has a cloned website also. You need to be very, very carefully stay away from this cloned website and go for the original one. Now, if you type the name of the journal and if the name is not here, that means the journal is under discussion. Or you can send us the query. We will reply back to that query, because there is a lot of data of original journals also in the market that we are not able to put it in the app. We are just working on the fraudulent publishers at the moment and fraudulent journals at the moment. So as and when you type the name of the another journal, which one is like Mukt Shabd, you will see Mukt Shabd original as well as Mukt Shabd clone. So the databases will kept on increasing, and we will be improving the databases and the algorithm also as we get the feedback from all the stakeholders. When you download it, please give us your feedback. This is the beta version. We will be giving you the final version next week, and your feedback will be very, very, you can say, good for us. And we are very excited that this app is launched here in the Amity University. It's time to give back to Amity University. It's been 10 years in Amity University. So we gave it Amity Quality Journal Checker app. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Now, it's a matter of immense pleasure for me to announce that the papers received for the conference are being compiled into an edited book. The title of the most awaited publication is Gender and Politics in Media and Literature. The book is being published with its own unique ISBN number allotted by Authorized Agency of Government of India. At the moment, we are releasing the final approved cover of the book. The final book would take shape in 3 months of rigorous editing and proofreading. So, on behalf of Amity University, Madhya Pradesh, may I request all the dignitaries to kindly grant us the permission to present the cover of the book.
Taking more time. Should come out quickly. Not the cover page.
May I request Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, AUMP, Professor Dr. MP Kaushik, to do us the honors of presenting the token of remembrance to our guests. On behalf of Amity University and with profound gratitude, we request keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Priyanka Tripathi, to accept the token of remembrance. We sincerely request our guest of honor, Dr. Devasiri N. Jayant, to kindly accept a token of gratitude from Amity University. On behalf of Amity University and with profound gratitude, We request guest speaker, Ms. Sangeeta Menon, to accept the token of remembrance.
We would also like to honor Ms. Kriti Singh and team from Goonj Radio Station and radio partners.
Hereby, we come to the end of the inaugural session of this conference. The day has been a pure delight for us. Before we break for lunch, we have a few important announcements. Post-lunch, all the presenters are requested to join the technical session that will commence at 1:30 p.m. and end at 3 p.m. in ASCO Studio in physical mode and on Zoom platform in virtual mode. You can join through the link that has already been shared on the WhatsApp group. One very important announcement: the certificates of participation will be auto-generated once you fill the feedback form, link for which has already been shared in the WhatsApp group. The link will remain active only for 24 hours. Now, we shall meet again at 3 p.m. online on Zoom and ASCO Studio in physical mode for the valedictory session. This is Oli Banerjee signing off. We may proceed for lunch now. Thank you.
National Conference on Gender and Politics in Media and Literature in hybrid mode, organized by Amity School of Communication and Amity Institute of Social Sciences. I, Mahima Khalkho, extend very warm greetings and cordial felicitations to the revered guest speaker, Professor Dr. Charu Chitra, all the dignitaries, members of faculty, research scholars, and students. On this occasion, we are privileged to have Professor Dr. Charu Chitra amongst us. May I request Professor Dr. Iti Roy Chaudhary, Director, AISS, ASCENT, ASL, and Deputy Dean Student Welfare, to felicitate our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Charu Chitra, with a ceremony.
तुम बताओ उस हिसाब से करेंगे।
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I now take the privilege of introducing her to the audience. Professor Dr. Charu Chitra is a professor of English in Government KRG College, Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. Her research area is partition of Indian subcontinent, Sufi studies, and feminist studies. She pursued her PhD on the theme of partition in Hindi and English novels, a comparative study. She has successfully undertaken 3 projects granted by UGC, namely Condition of Muslims at the Time of Partition, Multilingual Study of Women Writers of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and Partition Stories on Screen. She has supervised 12 PhD scholars till date. Dr. Charu Chitra is an eminent scholar with research articles to her credit in many reputed journals and anthologies like Routledge, Cambridge Scholar Press, and Atlantic. She is also appointed as a counselor by IGNOU. Apart from her academic endeavors, Dr. Charu Chitra is also a short story writer and has stories have been published in famous literary Hindi magazines and newspapers like Sahitya Amrit, Vagarth, Katha Desh, Nav Bharat Times, Amar Ujala, and Udyamita. She has been regularly presenting stories in the literary section of All India Radio since 1989. She also contributes regularly to academic journals and popular magazines on wide-ranging issues of culture, literature, and current affairs. Numerous articles, both in Hindi and English, have been published in academic journals, popular magazines, and newspapers over the last 25 years. May I request you, ma'am, to enlighten the audience with your address? Please, ma'am.
Dr. Iti Roy Chaudhary, Dr. Sumit Narula, convener of the conference. I don't know whether organizing secretaries are here or not. I don't think so. Harshika, Dr. Harshika Verma, Dr. Salim Ahmed, Dr. Shramita Pandey, Mr. Siddharth Sharma, all learned dignitaries, participants, and my dear students. And thanks for this generous introduction also, beta. Okay. Though I have 2 books also. One is multiple narratives and one is a short story collection, Hiranya Garbha, but it's okay.
We were more focused on research.
Okay. No, it's not a problem. So, Mary Wollstonecraft wrote A Vindication of Women in 1791, 232 years ago. Supposed to be the earliest feminist writings, she demanded equal rights, education for women. She argued women are not naturally inferior to men, but appears to be only because of lack of education. Savitri Bai Phule in 1848, 175 years ago, started girls' education with her husband Jyotiba Phule. She was pelted stones, thrown cow dung by higher class society because she and her husband laid part to women's emancipation, freedom, and liberty. And today in 2023, in the age of artificial intelligence, digital wallets, renewable energy, when we have bullet trains like Shanghai Maglev with a speed of 600 km/h, we are using 5G phones. Other countries are using 7G and 8G also. When NASA is planning new launch system, rocket to explore the space, we are still discussing the space of women in their homes and gender, other genders also, in their homes, society, politics, and their portrayal in media. The whole situation is actually quite pathetic and ironical. Today, I'll not talk about Neeta Ambani, Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, Falguni Nayar, Rohini Naidar, Savitri Jindal, no. I'll not give my voice to Indira Nui, Barkha Dutt, Sonia Gandhi, Sushma Swaraj, Nirmala Sitharaman, no. We all know they are the most powerful women of India and world. I want to talk about a 13-year-old Jharkhand girl who was sold to a Jaipur resident and was raped on 7th February. I want to discuss my students. I'm in a government college. We have approximately 14,000 students, in girl students in my college, and they don't come to college. Why they don't come to college? Because they are from middle class and lower middle class. Because they can't afford 30 or 40 rupees of tempo daily. They are not allowed to go out from their houses. They have to complete their household chores. Do you know that most of the girls need some reason to go out, to move out from their houses, even in 2023? They are not lucky as you. They can't say that we want to go out and feel the shower. They can't say that we want to explore the alleys and gullies of Bada. They have to give some valid reasons. So her wings are cut and then she's blamed for not knowing how to fly. In Victorian age, Tennyson wrote, "Men for field and women for hearth. Men for sword and women for needle." And this is still working in our society. Today, I also want to mention Alan Turing, famous mathematician, enigma code breaker, genius, computer visionary, the most innovative thinker of his time, died as a criminal because he was a homosexual, forced to endure chemical castration before it. So when we use word gender or gender equality, it means people of all genders have equal rights, opportunities, and liabilities. All identities, male, female, lesbians, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, are part of gender. It should be very clear that sex is a biological term and gender is a socially, culturally, mythologically, historically cultured phenomena. As Simone de Beauvoir very clearly put it, one is not born woman, become one. So gender is a construct. Gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable society. Word. Once a man said that I have a very good democratic system in my home. And I take very small decisions and my wife take big decisions. Big decisions as Biden's approach to Israelis and Palestinians is proper or not. Or Taiwan clash with China is extremely bad. And now we have to follow these things. So these decisions my wife take. And what about me? I take small decisions, as small, very small, little decisions where my children will get education, to whom my daughter and wife will talk, to which party my family will cast vote. It can be a joke, but actually, this is the situation of the society where we are living. Participation in Lok Sabha is never exceeded from 12%, and in Vidhan Sabha of women, and in Vidhan Sabha, it is 11% only. For the last 25 to 26 years, women of this country are waiting for the bill for reservation for the 33% of seats in the parliament. When any movement starts, it is never a momentary thing. It is a germination of thought, which spreads everywhere and affects political, social, economical, philosophical conditions. Suppose we take French Revolution. It was not just a revolt near that Fortress Bastille. It enters in the psyche of people and affects the whole subcontinent, European subcontinent and world also. And when you assemble all these things under one umbrella, that is literature. कोई भी उठाकर कुछ भी पढ़ लीजिए, हीर रांझा पढ़ लीजिए. You will get the whole scenario of later 17th century and 18th century. What type of customs were there? Convictions were there. कैसी dresses पहनते थे? लुंगी and सब male and female दोनों लुंगी and कुर्ता पहनते थे. Jewelry, खाना, utensils, legal system, police system, everything is there. So feminism, which has flowered it incorporated gender studies also in it. And we can say that it is an extended study of gender. And the basic focus of feminism is the equality of different genders. The debate further enhanced and queer identities are also incorporated in that. Literature plays, and it is playing a very decisive role in transmitting these ideas. Writers like Simone de Beauvoir, Kate Millett, Naomi Wolf, Showalter, Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak are deconstructionists. And they deconstruct the social endocentric patriarchal society, mythological constructs and historical constructs. Showalter, in her literature of their own, she gives the term gynocentric, gynocriticism. She said, rather than to adopt men theories, it is better to write your own literature. Make new models based on the study of female studies, experiences, their psyche. Here I want to mention one more name, Tarabai Shinde in 1882. She wrote Stri Purush Tulna. It was the first feminist text. And in that text, she compares men and women in the society. Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak, she talked about, can the subaltern speak? And all these writers, they used one term, किसी भी तरह से, जरूरी नहीं है कि सीधे सीधे, that is epistemic violence. Violence exerted through knowledge is probably one of the key elements in any process of domination. अभी मैं एक टीवी को इधर उधर करते हुए एक मेरे सामने एक डायलॉग आया किसी वेब सीरीज का कि वन लेडी इज स्टैंडिंग ऑन द डोर ऑफ ये विधानसभा, ये कह रही है विधानसभा है कि मर्द सभा। तो जो उसके साथ उसकी पीए है वो कहती है कि देश दुनिया तो मर्द ही चलाता है ना। So this is our representation in society.
At OTT platform, very well.
हाँ, maybe. I don't know. Yes, on
Rani.
अच्छा, I don't know about the web series. No. Actually, we want to live in historical amnesia. We love it. Or we want to, partially we want to think. We don't want to say each and everything. We don't say that in Arthashastra. Arthashastra acknowledges women political agency. We know Draupadi, very famous name, but we don't know she was so intelligent. She took an active role to decide whether the Pandavas should go to war or not. हम द्रौपदी को दो ही तरह से जानते हैं, चीरहरण हुआ था और 5 पति थे. That is very interesting. 5 पति थे, 5 पति थे, ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. सावित्री, every woman of India follows सावित्री, जो यमराज से किसको ले आए थे? हस्बैंड को. लेकिन कोई ये नहीं बताता कि उसने लव मैरिज की थी और अपने फादर से लड़के की थी. Father was not ready for Satyavan because he was poor. So we live in historical amnesia. If you read Tamil Sangam poetry, women ambassadors, bodyguards, advisors, you will find those characters under Chol rule. Babar was trained in lessons of warfare by her grandmother Daulat Begum. Begum Hazrat Mahal, Noor Jahan, Avanti Bai, Jhansi Ki Rani fought for their political rights, some openly, some behind the curtains. But whenever women behaves like a human being, she is said to be that she is imitating male. Khub ladi mardani, wo to Jhansi wali Rani thi. She thinks like a man. Well, you can't think even. He thinks like a man. Media plays dominant role in our lives, the most informative and effective role in our society. It creates awareness, educates us, entertains us, and it is the most influential source on which public relies. That is very important. On one hand, media has raised the women issues very prominently, but first I'll give one example of media in a very positive manner. In 1970, first FBI chief J. Edgar Hoover publicly announced that he has homosexual desires. And media accepted it so positively that you can see many TV shows and movies on the life of Hoover in a very positive manner. The advances of feminist movement by bringing these issues in public, media has a very prominent role, and actually all these movements, when you are watching all these movements, that is because of media. मीडिया आपके सामने पहुंचा रहा है, न्यूज़पेपर हो, चाहे प्रिंट मीडिया हो, चाहे कोई भी मीडिया हो. But it is presenting a negative image of the women, due to which violence against women has increased. Now, the 20th century era has a consumerist approach, and capitalism has grown like anything in this era. And they have a very strong say everywhere in the world. Media is also changed with the advent of technology. It constructs images of masculinity and femininity and representation in popular media. They actually, representation of men and human beings become more and more sexualized in media. A man in Australia was accused of stalking two women. He said he learned it from Bollywood movies. He said that if you watch those movies, then you will see that relentlessly pursuing women was the only way to woo them. And his case was dismissed by the court with this, because of this argument. So we human beings, we construct media, but now it is constructing us. It is making us. It is ruling on our psyche and imagination. Our bodies, what our bodies means, bodies of men and women, both, are treated as sexual objects, not as human beings. Six-pack abs of men and size 0 women are promoted. Portrayal of women in films and TV serials is so conventional and traditional. So, there are only two types of women. Either to conventional women with palla sir pe, otherwise very evil women. बीच का कोई रास्ता ही नहीं है, ठीक है? So, and what is their role? To attract men. That is their only role. Role of women is based on mostly for new erotic bodily postures. So media is turning people into sex objects, into commodity. Especially, I think it is our qualification that we turn people in sexual objects of Indians and Jogi. मैं तो तंदूरी मुर्गी हूं यार, गटकाले सैया अल्कोहल से. Now what is this? कुड़ियों का लगा है बफे, चाहे जो कर लो choose. These are the songs जो हम बड़े खुशी के साथ सुनते हैं, खूब खुश होके. चिकनी चमेली, झंडू बाम और जितने भी songs हैं. So entire notion of body is so significant in media. It questions your masculinity also. If you are using a product manufactured for a female body, then you are not masculine. अभी से 5-10 साल पहले तक पता नहीं कोई masculine था ही नहीं, कोई male man था या नहीं. Media is giving that. The quality of the product depends on the beauty and figure and color of the model. शैम्पू कौन सा लेते हैं? कभी ट्राई नहीं करते हम कौन सा शैम्पू है. हो सकता है खादी का शैम्पू बेस्ट हो. What we take, which is Aishwarya Rai or Katrina Kaif is using it that. So the whole scenario is opposite to intellectualism. Girish Karnad wrote a very beautiful drama, Hai Vadan. Though it is taken from folklore, mythological story hai, but it deals with modern age. Two men, one with very good physique, one with very good brain, and the protagonist Padmini, she wants both of them. She needs a good body and she needs a good brain. So this drama, end mein sab khatam ho jayega. It deals with completeness, it deals with choices. Perfection, it also tells us that perfection of man has nothing to do with his physical looks. It is about the conflict between the mind and the body, between logic and lust, conflict between identities, and in the end, it shows the supremacy of the head over body. हम बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं, अरे भाई बिल्कुल मॉडल जैसे लग रहे हैं, उसका पूरा दिन बन जाता है, मॉडल जैसे लग रहा हूँ, लग रही हूँ या लग रहा हूँ. कोई ये नहीं कहता कि भाई तुम इतने खूबसूरत लग रहे हो, बिल्कुल कलाम जी जैसे लग रहे हो. One of the most handsome personality of this country. तो हमारा जो पूरा ध्यान है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ it is on physical appearance. We have very developed brain also in this body, and actually this brain is governing us, but we are not using that. एक मेरी बड़ी खूबसूरत पसंदीदा लाइन है कैफी आजमी साहब की. तू की बेजान खिलौनों से बहल जाती है, तपती सांसों की हरारत से पिघल जाती है, पांव जिस राह में रखती है फिसल जाती है, उड़ने खुलने में है निकहत, खमे गेसू में नहीं, जन्नत एक और भी है जो मर्द के पहलू में नहीं. अब ये मतलब नहीं है कि ओहो मैडम ने क्या कह दिया. नो, एंजॉय योर रिलेशंस. दे आर एक्चुअली वो सबब है जीने का. दे आर द ब्यूटी ऑफ योर लाइव्स, बट नॉट ऑन योर कॉस्ट. आप अगर एक गुड़िया की तरह बनके, इफ यू आई डोंट नो वेदर लिटरेचर स्टूडेंट्स आर हियर और नॉट, इफ यू रिमेंबर द कैरेक्टर ऑफ नोरा हेल्मर, माय लिटिल स्वीट बर्ड, माय बटरफ्लाई, my squirrel, and she was happy. And one day she realized, no, I am not like this. I am something different. I can take decisions. I can walk in my life alone also. So we feel very happy with all these things. कि कितना प्यार करते हैं, कितना अच्छा है. No, it is not like that. ये तो shackles हैं. In the end, what I want to say, that so many women have sacrificed their lives for you. You people are sitting here freely, without covering your heads, taking education in a co-ed institute. It is their sacrifice, because that's why you are sitting here. One more thing should be very clear. Feminism is again it is not a biological term. It's an ideology. So it is not about women only. It is men can also be a feminist. And there are so many men who have worked throughout their life for this issue only. And if you know that in Western countries, feminism was initiated by women, and in our country, it is initiated by women. So we progressed so far. Media is overpowering us, but the road to complete parity still was. We have to explore that. It is unexplored. So prioritize your life. There is one thing or I want to add here. There is one word, bimbo. See the meaning of bimbo. Do you know what is bimbo? Anyone in the room? Bimbo is a word. If you see the meaning of bimbo, smart, beautiful and attractive women without brains. Don't be a bimbo. One man has written this word, that's why it is for women, but it is for men and women equal. So don't be a male bimbo or female bimbo. Bimbo nahi banna hai hame life mein. We have to use our brains. And you are sitting here, students. So many girls long for this azadi. Actually. So don't waste it. Use this also. और ये मेरी गारंटी है कि जब आप ये यूज करते हो तो you look so beautiful. क्योंकि एक चीज मूर्ति के अलावा दूसरी होती है कि आपको मुंह खोलना होता है. तो in the end, तेरे माथे पर ये आंचल बहुत ही खूब है लेकिन तेरे माथे पर ये आंचल बहुत ही खूब है लेकिन तू इस आंचल से एक परचम बना लेती तो अच्छा होता. परचम इज बैनर, झंडा. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Let's give a standing ovation. We know it, but we couldn't say it in lines.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable insights.
ऐश्वर्या राय no more. हाँ नहीं मैं इंडिया के ऊपर वाला हूँ लेकिन मैं लॉरियल उसको देख के चला गया. लॉरियल बंदा मैं आपसे. और S14 को भाई लॉरियल नहीं लेना. तो आप पब्लिसिटी खादी एंड सैनिटरी
एस2 की नोटिस बोर्ड पे लग
गई. एडवर्टाइज जो एडवर्टाइजिंग के टीचर है खादी के एडवर्टाइजमेंट ज्यादा से ज्यादा बनाने हैं. ठीक है. हाँ.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable insights on the area of gender and politics in today's scenario. Ma'am, your address has paved the way to understand the new forms of gender and politics emerging through the current situation across the globe. Thank you so much.
May I request Professor Dr. Iti Roy Chaudhary, Director, AISS, Ascent, ASL, Deputy Dean, Student Welfare, to present the valedictory report. Please, ma'am.
So I would like to once again mention this. What a rousing and passionate speech, ma'am. Seriously, we are so grateful to you. Set the tone and you actually have presented the valedictory address. This is the gist. Right data, absolutely. And it was delivered in such a manner that all of us could relate to it. So really, really grateful to you. My task today is cameo here. I'm presenting the valedictory report. Professor Dr. Charu Chitra, Dr. Sumit Narula, conference organizing secretaries, Dr. Harshika Verma and Dr. Salim Ahmed, guests, faculty members, participants, and students. Thank you all for joining us for this international conference on gender and media in literature, gender and politics in media and literature, being jointly organized by MIT School of Communication and MIT Institute of Social Sciences. The 2-day conference, the 2 days, the conference was prelude. There was a pre-conference workshop that was held yesterday on data analysis in collaboration with NVivo, and hands-on training was given by Dr. Sumit Narula. Today, the deliberations explore two vital aspects of gender studies: the male domination in the male-female binary setup and the marginalization of LGBTQ+ by the cisgender and the role of media and language therein. It is heartening to note that women have been able to break the glass ceiling in so many sectors in so many parts of the world. Yet, as they say, the petty done, the undone vast. As for the oppression and the suffering of the LGBTQ+, the majority of the human race would rather they remain closeted. We do not want that they should challenge the status quo. We are in our comfort zone. We do not want to confront our own demons. So it is like conferences like this, which force us to come out of these comfort zones. And who else would think about the marginalized sectors, if not people in academics? If we do not draw attention to the plight, the misery, the sufferings, they will remain closeted, they will continue to suffer endlessly for generations after generation. It is therefore incumbent upon the academia to deliberate upon this vital issue. Let media and literature be the voice of the marginalized and the oppressed. Let us use these powerful tools for course correction by creating the right discourse on the topic. Let us research, confer, and write more on the politics of gender. I would like to here thank all the participants who joined us for the conference. We received 150 papers, which were divided into 10 theme-based tracks in the technical sessions. The best paper would be awarded, best paper that we received. The name would be shared by Dr. Narula now. I thank you all once again. Thank you.
Now is the time to acknowledge and recognize the best paper presenter and presentation of the day. Before I invite Professor Dr. Sumit Narula, Director, Amity School of Communication and Deputy Dean Research, to kindly announce the winner of the Best Paper Award and Best Paper Presentation, I would like to request Organizing Secretaries Dr. Harshika Verma and Dr. Salim Ahmed to join us on stage.
Thank you. Special thanks to ma'am. So it was such a heartwarming because I'm also an MA English, but I didn't took my future into English literature, but I'm with English literature. So, and after listening to you, I should have done something there also. So I'm thinking to clear my net and doing PhD in English. So my mother is in PhD, my elder brother is in English PhD, but yeah, so I have the guide. So because this is too good because we see, we are directly impacted by the advertising. Advertising is directly impacting us. We buy certain things which we don't require, but because of the advertising pressure, we buy that. So we are doing a lot of research on that during our advertising research also. So coming to the best paper, yes, this is for best paper, research paper that best research paper. Best research paper is gender codes and political environment empowerment, a study on women in Panchayati Raj institutions in district Shopian, Jammu and Kashmir by Rifat Ayub, research scholar, Department of Politics and Governance, Central University of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. Very, very excited. We will send you the details there. Even if you are listening to us, you are in Kashmir, we are happy and we are excited that we have won this award for us. And the second is best paper presentation. The best paper presentation is here with us, Soumya from IIT Patna. Best paper presentation. Sorry. Okay. So ma'am, if you can also please join us. So Soumya, after the picture, just tell us about the research once again. Okay, ma'am, आप इधर आओ ना, अर्शिका उधर जाओ, सलीम सर मेरे साथ आओ. पिक्चर्स के लिए बड़ा वो रहते हैं. Right, thank you. 1 minute if you can speak.
So well, I'm in my final year of PhD, and I'm working on medical humanities with special reference to infertility. And I'm talking about its two aspects, the societal stigmatization of it and also the commercialization aspect of it. Ma'am, as you have said that how advertisements are kind of impacting us, and I would like to say that there are two ways. They can force us or they can convince us. So yes, we are going to the market and buying things, but none of us is imposed on them. We are convinced. Similarly, what my point of contestation is that similarly IVF clinics, for that matter, makes us believe that pregnancy at any age is doable. And all the infertile women feel that that is the only way out of all their miseries. So we get into it. But little do we realize that what goes on in a woman's body. So my entire aspect of it kind of centers around the medicalization of women's body and how in the entire process of procreation is commercialized and also capitalized in today's sector. So this is exactly what I'm trying to talk about. And also one of my chapters will talk about surrogacy. So these are two. Thank you.
That's yours. That's yours. Okay, so now I think the vote of thanks, right? I have. Thank you. So I would like to give the vote of thanks. So I feel honored and privileged to end this workshop. And ma'am, we are working on this workshop from the last 6 months, and 3 months have gone into planning, and then we decided to come together. And last year we had one conference together on digital humanities, and this time we decided on this topic. And we are declaring here that one of the best paper, around 2 to 3 papers we are taking in our journal, ma'am. That is a Scopus Index journal published from MIT School of Communication, and we will be sending the mails to the people. Those papers have been selected, including the best presenter as well as the best researcher. So we will be taking their papers after due deliberations with the editorial board. Viriti ma'am will also join us. So I'm very excited and happy to say that the conference is successful. And special thanks to the students who stood with us for 2 days, and to the organizing committee, Salim sir, and the whole team of AISS and the whole team of ESCO, especially 2 students who went to Delhi and brought the guest to us from Delhi. One of guest has come from Sri Lanka, ma'am. And by night, 9 p.m. he reached New Delhi airport. And from there, one of 2 faculties picked him up from there, and they brought him here for the conference. Dr. Jain Devasiri is that. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vishakha ma'am. Thank you, other Ascent, ASL, AISS, all the faculties and ESCO faculties and ESCO students. And thanks to Harshika, she brought us the message from the minister. The INB minister has also, ma'am, given the message to us for the success of the conference. And we have also released an app, ma'am, Amity Quality Journal Checker app. We specialize in catching fraud and predatory journals. We have the copyright also. So we have developed an app. In that app, there are more than 200 fraud journals listed. And now if you have to see that whether this is an original journal or a cloned journal, you go to that app, put the name there.
Problem, actually.
Yeah. So it was a big problem. Now we are trying to solve it. We have taken 400 plus hands-on training workshops. Yes, impact factor. Yes, we have the copyright on catching misleading and fraud impact factor also. So that would be the next level that we were doing that in that app. So app is released. Tomorrow onward, it will be on Google Play Store, and next week it will be on iOS. So it is free for all. You download the app, put the name of the journal there. It will tell you whether it is cloned or original. So this is our bit to the academics that we want to give back to the academics. So everybody is involved in that app, and we have taken a lot of data from other departments also. And we have given a tab, contact us, where you will give us the name of the journal. We will try to find out what is there, good or bad, and then we'll get back to you on our own through that app. So that we will be sending you the link also through ma'am. And thank you, everybody. And one more thing, okay, the event cannot end with the help of the IT team. So special thanks to the IT team. Sanjay is our studio coordinator. Thank you, Sanjay, for standing for 2 days with the camera. And the Zoom team, central team of Zoom from Noida. I think they are listening us. And the Honorable Vice Chancellor, he is not here at the moment, but he is our mentor. He is our support. Without his giving go ahead and guidance, we just cannot do anything. We wish him very good health because he's not well at the moment, but we are very, very happy that he gave us a go ahead to go for the conference, even if he's not present, but his blessings are always there with us. We are also very, very thankful to Honorable C6 sir, our chairman and chancellor. He's in Noida, and to the founder president for giving us the opportunity. Their messages were enlightening, and it gives us a lot of confidence when we get the messages from higher authorities in the printed forms that this conference should be successful and it should become a success. And special and last thanks to Dr. Itira Chaudhary. Yeah, she is like an elder sister to me here in the department, and I take a lot of mentoring understanding and advices from her. So thank you, ma'am, for joining us and giving us our support, and the department was there with us. So thank you, everybody. If I have forgot someone, so please sorry, but I thank everybody. So the students, yes, the comparing team, they are also working hard. The press people and the media people also, those who are sending the news. We have published the news in 2 newspapers. 2 newspapers will be covering us tomorrow. The radio partners, Goonj, the Emerald has become our academic partner, Turnitin as our integrity partner, and NVU and QSR as our workshop partners. And thank you, students, and thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. So you can come here and we can have a good photo also. Right. Oh, okay. There's something. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I request Professor Dr. Iti Roy Chaudhary, Director, AISS, ACENT, ASL, and Deputy Dean Student Welfare, to do us the honors of presenting the token of remembrance to our guest. May I most respectfully request Professor Dr. Charu Chitra to accept this token of gratitude. Thank you, ma'am.
On this note, we conclude the highly enriching, productive, fruitful, and a wonderful day. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day and a wonderful weekend ahead. This is Nandini Dudia signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.